Danika Priim is my guest on episode 20 of Light on Leeds podcast. Danika is a rugby league player for Leeds Rhinos Women and she is a prop forward. She tells us what got her into the game and talks about the best place to get donuts in Leeds. Have a listen, do. So welcome to episode 20 of Light on Leeds. We have Danika Priim who's come along from Women's Leeds Rhinos. Hello.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming along. So you've just been to a practice this morning?
Yeah, we're in pre-season, so just finishing week 2 of pre-season. We've got a long, well, it starts a bit sooner this time, so 29th of March is our first game, so we'll be working 2 or 3 times a week up until the 29th of March, ready for the start.
Wow, is it exciting?
Yeah, really good. You know, we've come off the back of a really good season, so last year we won the double, which was the Challenge Cup, which is an external kind of competition running alongside the league, and then we won the grand final,
wow, which
was the culmination of the league, and both times beating Castleford Tigers, which is very nice indeed, because they're kind of our local rivals. So and they went undefeated last season pretty much.
Wow. And
they won the actual league, so to beat them was great. So yeah, we won the league before, the year before, and the Challenge Cup. So I think this year the kind of aim is to try and get all 3 and not just the 2. So yeah, that's the big aim.
Does it feel like a lot of pressure then?
Yeah and no. I think the big misconception about women's rugby is that we're professional, and we're not. We're still essentially a community sport in the sense that we don't get paid. However,
right,
Leeds do support us like professionals, so we get all the training, we get the kit, we get all the venues, the physios, the strength and conditioning. So there's pressure in the sense that we are being given all of this great opportunity, and the women's sport's growing, but we're not paid, so we still all are either professional, work professionally, or students. So yeah, there is pressure in the sense that we put it on ourselves, but I think as the sport growing, we just want the sport to develop, as cliche and cheesy as that sounds. Whatever happens, as long as we're developing the game, it'll be great.
So is that that's just because there's less money in women's rugby?
Yeah, I think the sport in general, rugby league, is still quite a new sport, although it's been going for years. I think this year's the 150th or something ridiculous like that anniversary. So, but the men have only been professional for a few years, and it's the investment in the game. We're very much a northern sport.
Right.
Rugby union is classed as the posh boy southern sport, and rugby league is more of the working class northern kind, or was seen as that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just growing and developing, and we need people to get invested. Last season we had 2 major sponsors come on board with the whole competition, and Sky Sports showed the final and BBC showed the Challenge Cup final. So we are growing, we are developing, and I think it'll only be a few years before the girls start getting paid internationally. There's a bit of payment now, or there has been for the last couple of things they've done, and the World Cup they're paying the same prize money to the men on the women.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, so the RFL themselves are making a real effort to try and grow the sport. It's just about people coming on board, and that investment we need from external companies more.
And so do you have anything to do with going out and trying to get people more involved and get more women involved in the sport?
Not directly,
no.
So the club, so we all have player sponsors as well, so we'll be looking for player sponsors for the season coming ahead, but the club do that, and they contact people, and more so now people are coming in. But as a general sport, it's a bit of a bigger picture than just we can get the word out and we can ask, and say if you are interested, but we don't have to actually do any of the legwork for that,
right,
which is really nice. And in other sports I know that for women you do have to go out and find your personal sponsors, so we're very lucky in that respect. We don't have to go around kind of essentially begging for help.
Yeah,
we get it all, so it's good.
And do you find that there's more and more young women getting involved? Yeah,
there's a big push by the RFL, which is our our main body, to get 21,000 women by 2021.
Wow, that's a really great.
So yeah, the World Cup will be the first ever World Cup, which is in England in 2021, which where the men's, the women's, and all the wheelchair rugby will be played all at the same time. So there's a big push for that. So we've seen a massive increase over the last 2 seasons. We've had this new kind of Super League where women's rugby's been around, but the last 2 seasons in particular we've had a Super League which is in line with the men. So there's been, I think it was 6 or 7 teams, then last season was 8 teams, and then this year it's 10 teams.
So it's getting bigger all the time.
So it's bigger all the time, and then we've got an academy team, so we have an under 19s, and they also run under 16s, 14s and 12 sessions, and other clubs are coming on board with that now. So the women's game, we're really progressing loads, and people are just getting more chance to go out there and play it, so it's great.
Oh, brilliant. And how did you get involved?
bit of a curveball, really. So I'm a dancer by trade,
Right.
which couldn't be any further from the spectre if you tried.
What kind of dancing?
Well, classically trained in ballet, tap and modern.
Really?
Yeah, and then with my size, I don't fit the petite kind of stereotype for dancers, so I went into the more commercial side. And then went to university, wanted something completely different. Played rugby union, and then 2015, the England coach just said, "Look, I've been watching you. Do you fancy playing some league?" I was a bit sceptical because, you know, when you play union and league, it's like the biggest rivalry ever of the two sports. And then he just said, "I've been watching you for the World Cup in 2017." I was like, right, where do I sign up?
Excellent.
So 2015, yeah, just signed up and then made my debut for England that was February 2015, and made my debut for England in June 15.
And how did that feel? Was that just amazing?
Oh, it was so surreal. I look back now and I think I totally wasn't ready for it and didn't really appreciate it as much as I would do now as such. But yeah, the best experience of my life, and then managed to go to the World Cup in 2017, and I think nothing will ever really top that, you know. The Australians take their sport very seriously, so we were treated as equals, and, you know, if not more, and it was just, World Cup's the highest level you can play at for your sport, isn't it? So yeah, best experience of my life.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
And so were you involved in sport quite a lot when you were younger, or was it more just the dancing?
No, I've got 3 brothers, so sports, yeah. And then those were the days where, you know, you did actually play out and you ran around and went to the field with a ball. And then I trained, my university degrees were in sport as well.
Right.
So, and then I trained as a PE teacher initially, and now kind of gone over a bit and teach maths a bit more now. So, but yeah, sport has always been a massive part. Dance, football, rugby. I'm one of those people that used to try my hand at anything, just I think probably just for the sake of keeping busy, keeping out of trouble, which is probably the real answer. But yes, I've always loved being active, and can't quite imagine what I'll do when I have to retire. So I'll have to find something else to do then.
And is that something you have to think about, obviously, earlier than in ordinary careers? Retiring a bit earlier?
Well, I'm 36 at the end of the season, so I'm, you know, going to spend 35 is probably pushing it a bit for the women's game, considering that we have to work as well. But I've just come back from a major knee reconstruction. I snapped my ACL ligament, which is a very common sporting injury, but it's a major one, so I was out for a year. But it's about how hard I work off the field, and, you know, and look after myself. And I'm hoping to squeeze a couple of seasons out, realistically. And then the other thing that we've got to think about is, you know, children, and whether when that comes into the, you know, I'm cracking on a bit now, so I've not got long left to think about that. But no, I'll keep playing for as long as my body lets me. But there's younger girls coming through, you know, where I'm not going to be as fast or as agile or hit as hard as the young ones coming through. So there will be a natural progression where I think it's time for me to fade out, which is where I've been doing quite a bit of work behind the scenes. I write a rugby column for a magazine. And
excellent. What magazine is that?
It's the 40/20 magazine, so it's a rugby league publication, and, you know, I do their podcast sometimes with them, and I've done a bit of commentating on the BBC radio.
Oh, wow, and do you enjoy that?
Yeah, I love it. So that, you know, it's just great for the women's games growing, and the fact that they want women to do it. So yeah, that's been nice, and hopefully, if I'm not playing in the 2021 World Cup, which is probably very unlikely, I'll hopefully be a pundit for the BBC for it, because they're going to show all the games.
Oh, wow.
That's the aim anyway.
That'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
That'd be the aim.
So you could end up with a whole new career as a broadcaster.
Yeah, well, loosely. I've got, my love of teaching is ridiculous. I don't think I could ever really let go of that.
Oh, really? Where do you teach?
I teach in alternative provision now. So I teach in Horsforth. So for kids that can't really access mainstream curriculums and stuff. So I work with them, and it's challenging, but it's the best kind of challenging ever. You know, you go, and some days you probably think, what are you doing? And then, but it is really rewarding. So I've worked in mainstreams and stuff. So yeah, teaching's my little kind of my thing that I know I'm good at.
Oh, brilliant. Well, it sounds like you're good at both things.
Well, yeah, I'm all right at rugby. I'm just very big and very strong, I think. I'm not very skillful. I can catch a ball and I can run hard, and that's my job as a prop. That's all I have to do.
Right.
So I pretend to be really good, but it's just a really basic role.
Well, I've got absolutely no way of telling, but I imagine that you've been very modest.
No, it literally is that. As a prop in league, it's literally that easy, but thank you. Yeah, I'm sure I've had a few accolades in my very short rugby league career, so I should be proud of myself, and yeah, take it on the chin, really. Very lucky. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And have you always lived in Leeds?
Always, yeah. Born and bred. Grew up in Horsforth. Went to school in Cookridge and Horsforth, and then went to university at Leeds Met when it was Leeds Met. Moved around for a couple of years, you know, did the travelling like you do and all of that, and then came back in Leeds now. So Leeds born and bred, and very proud of that.
Oh, that's brilliant. And what are your fans like?
They're amazing, absolutely amazing. I think we're still in a kind of weird world where we still forget that we've got fans. We forget that we've got fans, and people come to the game, and there's men bringing their daughters to watch, and they're just as invested in the game as their daughters are, and they're bringing it to give their daughters role models and aspirations. And the fans at Leeds are just incredible. Whenever we go and play there, we've got a few that turn out. We had, I think there was 4,000 at the end of the Challenge Cup final, because the men were playing after us, but they came down. They weren't coming to watch us, but coming down early and just tapping in and seeing what we've got. And then I think there was over 100,000 tuned in on Sky to watch the game.
Wow,
which is incredible. So you have to sit back and kind of pinch yourself, and then when you walk around Headingley, because we go to the games quite a bit, and people ask for a picture or something, it's like still a real novel, exciting experience. And I don't think you ever get used to that. No. Why would somebody want your picture? It's crazy, but amazing, and they're just the best fans in the world.
And how much does that support count when you're actually playing a game? Can you hear them?
It's like an extra man on the field. And that's, but works both ways. If the opposition have got a good set of crowd, it's quite intimidating if the fans from the opposition are loud. So you just hope that when it's the other way on the shoes on the other foot, that they feel the same about our fans, because they are loud and they are great. And we had a game at Headingley. The men weren't there. We just had our own game, and there was, I think, nearly 1,500 turned out to watch, which for the women's game is absolutely huge. So their support is just incredible, and we couldn't do it now without them.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's great to hear.
Yeah, they are brilliant.
Lovely to have them.
Yeah.
So, how would you encourage other young women to get into sport? Is there a way that they could do that?
Yeah, it's just as anything. I think sport in general, there's so many avenues for women now. For rugby, there's so easy to Google and find out where there are teams, and there's girls teams starting from 12 years old now, all the way up. In rugby league, it's quite scary because open age is 16, so I'm playing against 16-year-olds.
Oh wow!
Which can be quite daunting.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But with the fact that now we've got these under-19 academies coming through, they've got a chance to have that little break for a couple of years and play at a decent level before then moving up. So we've got a progression where we've had two 16-year-olds this year come and join our squad and really make a mark. And they just came from other sports or tried. We've got a lot of cross kind of sports. We've got dancers, crossfitters, rugby union players, footballers. So just a case of getting out there and having, even if you don't want to play competitively, you can't, the social side. Like I've been in the gym this morning with 5 other girls, and we've laughed the whole way through. Being in the gym and being absolutely, flogged to death is never a nice thing. But when you've got girls around you just laughing and joking. So if I don't do it for the competitive side, there's always that social element, of it, and there's no family like it. I know it's a real weird way to express it, but it is like an extra family. So even if it's just for a feel-good factor, like any kind of sport, taking a friend to the gym or whatever, just doing it with somebody is always better than doing it on your own.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, that's great. So we always ask our guests 3 questions. The first one is, can you tell us something that you think is great about Leeds?
I love the fact that you can be in the middle of the hustle and bustle. There's things going on left, right and centre. It's always busy, the lights, being in the city centre, and then a 10-15 minute drive, you're in the middle of absolutely nowhere in the most beautiful countryside settings ever. And I'm a fan of a small shot in the city and just spending a little bit of time there, but my biggest thing is getting out and going for walks. And I think we're really unique in the fact that Leeds has both of those in such a small area, but yet you feel like you're a million miles away. And I think that's the draw to live back here as well. I can have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds really simple, but 1 minute you're in the middle of the city centre, and the next you're looking over for miles and miles, and it's just wonderful.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people say a similar thing. I think you're exactly right. Yeah, you don't have to go very far at all, do you? So, where you wouldn't even realise you were in the city.
But that's the thing, and alongside comes that is like the different cultural things, and obviously with my name, we see so many different people and cultures, and such a diverse community. And I know you can say that about everywhere now, can't you? But I genuinely believe that Leeds is fitted to anybody, and regardless of who you are or where you're from, there's an area or a bar or a group or a community for you. So
Where does your name come from?
Eastern European. So my grandparents were Estonian, Ukrainian, so that kind of, they came over. I think my parents wanted normal original names for us, but we've all got something quite quirky and unique, and it's really made me. I was a shy girl when I was young, and people come in and having to say, oh, my name's Danika, and the people say, oh, that's nice, where's it from, how do you spell it, has naturally made me a bit more of a social person. Well, now I can't shut up, so it's completely irrelevant now, but it's kind of made me, really helped my characterisation as a child. So yeah, Danika is a
and it's nice to have an unusual name that not everybody else has got as well. Yeah,
definitely. I think I didn't appreciate it until I was older, and then people say, can I call you Dan or Danny, and I'm really anti being called Dan or Danny. And I know it happens, and I think on the pitch it's slightly different, but you know, if people say, oh, can I call you Dan? No, my name's Danika. Yeah. And I don't mean to be rude, but it's just, it is so different. Yeah, it's so different. So, it's made me, helped me make me who I am, I should say that. Yeah, it's good.
There is quite a big Estonian-Ukrainian community in Leeds, isn't there? There's the Ukrainian Society.
Yeah.
Is that in near Hills?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I spent a lot of my time in the Estonian club in Bradford when I was growing up. But yeah, I often get mistaken as Polish or Russian. But like, you know, you walk around now, and then I think Armley's got such a huge like Eastern European community, especially Polish. You know, it's things like not just Eastern Europeans, but like the Chinese supermarkets and the Chinese culture. Because I love it. I love food.
I'm sick.
So I like being able to go and just buy different things. I spent a lot of time in Southeast Asia, so it always suits me.
Oh, whereabouts did you go?
Hong Kong, Thailand, China.
Oh, did you love that?
Yeah, Hong Kong was based in Hong Kong, and it's just, people think it's a third world country for some reason, but it's literally 26 square mile of like a New York or a Japan, or, you know, very modern, very high tech, wonderful in the sense that step ahead of the game everywhere, but also has the old school trams to get around in the city with. So yeah, I loved it. Spent a bit of time up there, and but needed to come back and be back home. But we'll see. We'll see if I go out there again or not.
Oh, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Yeah, I spent some time in Taiwan last year, the year before, and I absolutely adored it.
Yeah,
just so beautiful. And such friendly people.
That's it, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're just welcome of anything, aren't they, if anybody. I wasn't massively keen on Beijing, a bit too over-polluted, and it was just before the Olympics in 2007, and so they had 8 lanes of traffic in the middle of the city centre, and it was just, you couldn't see across the road, so I think I was more put off by the pollution than I was the actual place.
Yeah.
That's the impression I've got now, so maybe I'll go back and hopefully it'll be changed. Yeah. Who knows?
Well, maybe a bit better when the Olympics are not on.
Yeah.
And what would you say, if you had to say something about the city that's not so great?
Oh, I'm like, you cut me in the middle, it says Leeds through and through. I'm like a stick of rock, so it's quite difficult. I don't know, really. I think I've really struggled to say something negative about Leeds. As bad as that sounds. I know, yeah, I'm thinking not everywhere's perfect, so I should have something, but I've been pondering this. The only thing I can think of is traffic.
Yeah.
Kirkstall Road. Yeah. Kirkstall Road is the bane of my life. Yeah. Because I spend all my time going up and down it, because my gym's on there, and then obviously Kirkstall, we trains at the bottom of it. And you have to set off an hour and a half earlier than anything in the rush hour. So maybe that, Kirkstall Road.
Yeah, that's okay. That's not too bad a one, is it? And if somebody was a long-term resident of Leeds, would you be able to tell them something that you think is a hidden gem that they might never have heard of?
Well, I found one just last year, and I've heard of it. So the water boat in near the Royal Armouries.
Oh yeah, the water taxis.
Yeah, the water taxis. That's it. Which I don't know if they're free all the time, but they were free when we went, and then we went from the Royal Armouries to pretty much the train station, but it was a beautiful hot day.
Yeah.
We'd picked up a drink from the bar, and the guy was like, yeah, hop on. So we sat at the front of this water taxi in the blistering hot sun, drinking a beer, and it was a really nice, like 15 minutes of just, and then I think we went for another bar and then got it back up again, and I know it sounds like something of nothing, but it was a really nice...
No, it's beautiful.
Really lovely, and then it takes you to a whole new area of Leeds where I've never... Well, I've probably been down there, but driven around. But, you know, there's a few new bars and places to go and see. So that was really nice. And definitely something I'll do again in the summer.
Yeah, I think they've just recently had to put the price up to charge £1 a trip, which is still nothing.
It's nothing, is it? Yeah. And it's cheaper than a taxi and cheaper than, faster than walking. Yeah. And much nicer than walking the whole route from Royal Armouries to the train station. So that's definitely something I'd suggest there. And also my secret favourite, I shouldn't really tell my trainers, but Temple Donuts.
Oh.
So it's near the viaduct in Kirkstall.
Okay.
And it's a vegan cafe, but not to be put off because I'm not vegan. It just does vegan donuts of every weird and wonderful flavour that you can think of. The designs are incredible and the coffee's great there. So, and I'm a big fan of coffee. So we found that, and it's on the way to training, so it's a bit...
So you can have them and then work it off when you get to training.
But Temple Donuts is the other place I love to go.
I have never heard of Temple Donuts, so that's great, and I'll have to definitely go and check that out.
Yeah,
it sounds amazing. Yeah,
and their Instagram is incredible. It's just like works of art on a donut.
Oh, I'll definitely check that out.
It's brilliant.
Well, thank you so much for telling me something that I've not heard of. That's great.
That's some job done then, brilliant.
So what will you be doing with the rest of your day?
Today I'm probably going to, since I'm going to overindulge in sport, but I'm going to probably go meet some friends and we'll go watch the Yorkshire Carnegie game at Headingley. They play Newcastle Falcons. They're a bit of a struggling side this season, but we're one club and all, and it's just something nice to do. I spend a lot of my weekend watching rugby union, so my friends play. So I'll probably go and do that and have a coffee and probably a hot soup to hold whilst I watch. But that'll be my day really, yeah.
Oh, well, that's lovely, and I hope you have a great day, and I hope that they win.
Probably won't do, but they'll probably put up a good performance. They're progressing, let's say that.
Well, that's the main thing.
Yeah, indeed.
Thank you so much for coming along.
No, thank you for having me.
Ta.
Thank you.
Light on Leeds, what's happening in this great city? Light on Leeds, we'll tell you. But wait a minute. Light on Leeds.
Danika Priim, what a great guest. I don't know much about rugby league, but soon I'll definitely be attending one of their games. Music this week is by singer, producer and multi-instrumentalist Sam Stevens. Sam has his own take on what makes a James Bond theme, and this one is called Grand Illusion. Enjoy!
You think you're playing me. I found you out 'cause I see clearly. You think I'm on my knees. I'm standing tall, tall and proudly. You fools too blind to see. This sleight of hand creates illusion. It's never you, it's me. You're the diamond, I'm occlusion. My lying eyes can see the prize in your demise. Yet still you try to believe the lies, you're hypnotized. 'Cause love's a losing games. A symphony, this grand illusion. A phoenix from the flames. A symphony, this grand illusion's mine. You realize your fate. This tangled web, there's no escaping. You thought you had it made. Your demise is your own making. You're lying, I see your demise. I take